So your underlying energy is the sun. Okay, so the sun underneath that is the Hierophant. So I think obviously a commitment is definitely a lot more clear than it started out. So that's a good thing. I think you found a way, a path to happiness, Sagittarians. I think there was some sort of commitment, whether this was you committing to your dream, to a certain path, or this was you guys committing to a relationship, or finding a way to reestablish a connection between you and another person. I think this is now about finding, just being happy, being okay, or recognizing what's good, and also taking the lead, taking the steps towards what makes you happy, okay, or getting there, right? Taking the steps that's going to help you get there, right? Because everything's clear. The sun illuminates all things, and usually, the reason why it's the path to happiness or it's potential happiness is because you can see where you need to go from where you are to be happy. Okay, so that being said, you have in the heart of your reading the Queen of Swords. So there is a bit of protective energy here. The Queen of Swords, she's very protective of her emotions. That's why she's detached. That's why she uses her logic. She likes to utilize the part of her that can definitely decipher between, wrong or right, yes or no. Things that would that your emotions probably wouldn't have a good part in. Now, this is very detached energy, but I also feel like this is definitely like obviously protecting yourself in a really big way, and it's because of some sort of combative energy. I think you guys may be dealing with somebody that's very aggressive with how they communicate with you, or in turn you guys are communicating with somebody else and very aggressively, or very you guys are really adamant about something, because the Knight of Swords rather, he's very adamant about his beliefs. He doesn't buckle. He's very one directional in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like he charges in real fast with his truth. Like he does not try to compromise or hear the other side. That's kind of what gets the Nine of Swords in trouble sometimes. Is that he could be charging in without all the information, without all the facts, and before you know it, he realizes that he probably shouldn't have done that because he doesn't know all sides. Okay. So I feel like for some of you guys, you may be dealing with either a younger energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or you guys could be, dealing with somebody that's very aggressive, that thinks they're very logical, but they're kind of going into this full steams ahead. Now, again, this could be you guys, right? You guys have a drill, you have a focus, you know where you're going, and that's perfect, right? Um, some of you guys may be just really protective of it, or you're fighting for something, so that may include getting involved with people in a very aggressive manner. Oh, there's an ice cream truck outside. It's November. That's weird. Okay, anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but anyway, yeah. So somebody may be going into this really, adamant about certain things, about really adamant about whatever they're trying to fight for. Because that's the sun, right? You know where you're going. You know the path ahead. It's very clear, and it's all about taking action. For some of you guys, there is a need to take action. There's a need to do something more or fight for what you want. Okay, I think there's a bit of protective energy here too, because there's some sort of hesitance or fear of kind of protecting what it is that you want. That could be that too, right? So I feel like for some of you guys, it's a mixture of a lot of things. And I feel like for some of you guys, it has a lot to do with going after what it is that you want, but being kind of protective of yourself, right? Not really putting yourself all the way out there because you don't want to disappoint yourself. Now, in the past, you have the Ace of Cups. Now, the Ace of Cups is coming up in here showing you that there's a new love. There's new love in this relationship between you and this other person. There's new love all around. There's new love within you. You're opening up, and this new love is helping you heal and begin a new cycle, which is awesome. It has begun a new cycle rather. Now you have Temperance in your present, and this is also a good card too, especially with the Hermit here. Like this combination here is very interesting. This is very personal, personal balance restoration. Okay, because usually Temperance comes up because there's something that we need to balance, maintain in our own lives, and allow divine timing to do its thing. Because honestly, we can't do much of anything with at this point. We have to just keep managing, keep pushing, keep really doing our own thing, taking care of ourselves, maintaining that balance, taking control of our responsibilities, all that. And the Hermit is Here I'm talking about going within, taking a look at what we, look at ourselves, because the Hermit indicates, it indicates. Oh my goodness, there's so many sounds going on. Um, it indicates soul searching, looking within yourself to find what you feel, find what you need for yourself to continue moving forward. It's a very personal card, all right? It's a very spiritual card, because this is going within yourself and trusting yourself to be able to carry on a certain journey. Okay. And I feel like with the Temperance card, there may be something that, is not necessarily on hold, but um, whatever you're doing, it is bringing about balance, and and focusing on the moment, where you are kind of reassuring yourself that you can continue to move forward, you can make it, right, by healing those things within yourself. This Ace of Cups, what may not have been, strong before, you know what I'm saying? Like the fighting for what you believe in it portion, that is just screaming, that's screaming to me like, hey, there may be something that you feel is missing within you to fight for what it is that you want. The Queen of Swords, she knows what she wants. It could be this, again, like I said before, this could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but I don't think this is about anybody fighting anyone. There's no fighting cards. This is all about peace and harmony, and having happiness. It's a good card. These are good cards pretty much, but there's also showing of a resistance here, and that is in retraction and resistance. And the second card that would come up as resistance is the Knight of Swords. So whatever this time of patience and balancing has to do with you gaining your fight back. Right? I think you guys right now are in the process of looking within yourself to find your fight. Because honestly, the Queen of Swords may detach you from your emotions, but you are getting slapped with the reality of things. You're being slapped with your own truth, with how you truly feel, what your truths are regarding what it is that you really want. This Ace of Cups. Your future shows the Six of Cups here, so we're going back to the past with the future. And I feel like this is talking about some ex, or this is about a situation in the past that you thought was in the past, that you weren't able to have any again. The Six of Cups cannot indicate, reminiscing, or going back to a time and place where you may have felt this way, right? Or maybe it reminds you of a time where you felt a certain way. Because usually when you go back to the past, or when the Six of Cups comes up, we can't necessarily go back to the past. The way we fell in love, the way we felt in this moment was pure, it was genuine, and it was the first time. And usually we can never recreate that first time. However, we can recreate happiness. Some of you guys may be trying to have kids, but you may be having struggles here. And if you guys are worried about being barren, because the Queen of Swords can indicate that, I really would highly see a professional, someone that is licensed to help you with that, because there's two cards that indicate children here, and the future does show that. So don't completely rule out every option. Okay, really keep looking forward and heal yourself too, because Temperance also indicates healing just as much as the Hermit and the Ace of Cups. But the future does indicate that there was a time of reminiscing, or a time where there's something that feels super familiar. I feel good. That's how I usually read it. Typically it's just about the past and children, or time of innocence, right? If we look back at a time of innocence, a time where we are more affected, or more influenced by our past. And I do feel like this is the reason why we're looking back at the past is because it's reinforcing reinforcing that continuous adamancy to keep moving forward, to keep pushing, to keep going. Now, in your goal, aim, ambition, you have the Four of Pentacles, and that's, or like I said before, this is retraction, and I feel like it's to heal. I feel like it's to kind of get some, get your courage back, or get, not really courage, get some confidence in yourself, because this Four of Pentacles is like breaking out of the comfort zone. You want to get out of this period where you're tired, you're tired of holding on to the same old thing, where you're tired of being attached to the same old stuff, and I feel like you guys are really done with kind of living your life in a very basic fashion, a very mundane fashion, because how this is looking is like you guys are the Queen of Swords, and you guys also have the Knight of Swords crossing you. You may not be taking action towards a certain direction, but you guys do want to. is still, you know, the Queen of Swords is passive, so that still, you have a little bit of passive in you, but you're protecting of yourself, protective of yourself, which is why you're passive. This is why you're not kind of opening up or breaking free or doing anything like that, because there's something you're protecting within yourself, and that it needs healing right now. Now, your goal and ambition is the Ace of Pentacles. And this is talking about a new beginning, but something that's very great in value for you, really, you know, really high in value, something that makes you feel good. It's of course it's not this is not feelings, it's not the Ace of Cups, but this is something that is, you know, you can commit to, something that can last a long time, you know, something that is going to build a potentially strong foundation that leads you to a, you know, stable and more committed future between you and this individual, between you and a certain journey that you're going down in your life. Ace of Pentacles is a really good card if you're feeling like you know, if you're going after a situation or you're going after something that, you know, that is some, you know, that's stable, you know, something that you can invest your time in. Obviously, because the Ace of Pentacles takes a long time, it takes hard work, and I do feel like for a lot of you guys out here, you know, in order for you to be able to get to this Ace of Pentacles, you have to recognize what's holding you back. Why is there, what are you protecting of yourself, right? Because the Queen of Swords is fearless, but there's something here that you have to break free from, and what is that? Okay, understanding what that is going to help you guys a lot at this moment. So we're going to go ahead and pull you guys your Messenger Oracle cards. Wow. Make the sacrifice. Make the sacrifice is what comes up for you guys this time around. Now, make the sacrifice is very similar to the Five of Swords, in my opinion, or death. And it's, you know, obviously it's coincidental that there's a skull in here, right? But you know, make the sacrifice talks about there's something that's great in value for you or great in value to you, and yet, you know, there is something that is requiring you to give of yourself, to give something of yourself that obviously you can't take with you. These are pieces of you that you can't take with you anyway, and that very sacrifice is what's going to propel you forward. That's what's going to break you free. So whatever you're sitting on, whatever you're protecting right now, that has to go, because if it's you know, with grace, right? Because honestly, there's only so much you can go with whatever it is that you're holding on to with this, you know, make the sacrifice. But making that sacrifice is not just to, you know, just kind of move forward or propel in a certain direction, but it's also to set yourself free. Because right now, this protective energy that you have right now is more of kind of a crutch because of this four of Pentacles, right? It's, you're holding on to it as a safety net, as a comfort zone. It's not actually setting you free. And this is what's going to set you free, making the sacrifice, but accepting and knowing that you have everything that you need to take on this Ace of Pentacles here, this Ace of Cups that you started out with here at the beginning. Obviously, this has a lot to do with your emotions. This has a lot to do with how you feel, and that is a scary step in itself, because the Queen of Swords is detached. She protects her emotions. So it's understandable not really wanting to go ahead and move in a direction where there's a lot more emotion attached to it, but making that sacrifice will make you feel better about where you are and how far you go. You know, it'll make you feel, it'll set you free, like I said before, pretty plainly and openly. It's not gonna, sure, we'll have our doubts, we'll have our worries some days, but the point of it all is that you won't have to worry about being stuck in one spot anymore, or doing something with little to no progress. Wow, loyal hearts and go the distance. So loyal heart is very interesting to me because it also talks about, friends, not friends. It talks about people that are loyal to you and you loyal to them. If I could speak, y'all, that would be perfectly fine, right? But yeah, it does talk about loyalty between people that you associate with, and people that um, people that you associate with, and then loyalty that you show them in return. Okay, because obviously there is reciprocation, um, and it's kind of like commitment in a way, because or committing, like the higher friend. It's almost like, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Say, like, when you say you're going to dedicate your time to this, you dedicate your time to it. And going the distance is like sticking to a certain task and doing so. And I feel like right now the making the sacrifice is something has to do with the well, obviously whatever you're giving up has a lot to do with how things have you've been in your life that hasn't been showing a lot of stability, right? Hasn't been showing a lot of progress in a certain direction. I think it's been a kind of jack of all trades kind of feel with it. And I feel like with loyal hearts is with whether this is a relationship or your own life personally without anybody else involved, this is saying, find something that your heart is devoted to, and then go that, and keep moving, keep pushing, because it's strength, right? That go the distance card is very similar to strength. You have the endurance to keep pushing forward, to still, to still fight towards a certain direction. You have that. Sometimes we may feel like we don't have that, that energy anymore, that, the endurance left to continue to finish out this race. But that's the thing. That loyalty, that devotion to something, it will reciprocate. It will show you. It will show itself back. And in that regard, that can fuel you to keep moving forward. Okay, you'll see that the direction that you're going in a certain, that whatever you committed to, um, and it will show itself back. It will give back to you, right? But you have to give all of yourself to it. You have to give all of yourself to it, and you have to continue to fight for it.